The curtain rises on a still form of hope. From stage left there is a scent of futility. A ripple of self-recognition passes through the audience. Existence flickers and falters and fails. Enter the King in Yellow.
Hey everybody, it's me, Nate, lost in time and space, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts on Arc Dream Publishing's The King in Yellow Annotated Edition. This collection of short stories written by Robert W. Chambers was first published in 1895, and it takes its name from a play with the same name in the title. The King in Yellow is well revered and has inspired writers, including Lovecraft himself, who adopted the works into his own mythos. Influences of The King in Yellow can be seen in film, games, and TV with shows like True Detective, which in its first season featured an elusive criminal known as the Yellow King. Does this product live up to the prestige, or will it remain unread like the third act of the play? As always, if you like this video, don't forget to leave it a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss when my videos go live, subscribe to the channel so you can become one of the many that are lost in time and space. Without further ado, let's jump right into The King in Yellow. Judging this book by its cover, which is sweet by the way, this leatherback book has a gold embossed scarab on the front. Nothing fancy, just sleek and elegant. Opening this tome, or in my case, the PDF, you'll be greeted by this absolutely stunning piece of artwork by Sam Aria. The book has several captivating pieces of art scattered amongst its pages, all of which is beautiful and help bring the stories to life. From there it moves on to the title page, publishing information, and table of contents. I appreciate that Shane put in a table of illustrations as well. It makes showing off the book's great artwork that much easier. The PDF version, available on DriveThruRPG, is fully bookmarked. This undoubtedly time-consuming effort made by the editor is a massive boon for the reader. When I say it's fully bookmarked, I mean fully. Each of the annotations by Ken Hite is bookmarked as well, and there are a ton of them. Ken's insight into Chambers' writing shows as he brings you into the strange, nightmarish world Chambers first created. Each nuance is dissected, and historical context within the writing is brought into the light. These notes are what makes this version of the book truly shine. Well, that and the gold feather on the outside. It's clear from the production value to the lengthy amount of research that Ken must have gone through that this was a labor of love for all that was involved. We had the chance to ask Shane Ivey about this title during an interview on the Great Old Ones podcast, and this is what he had to say. I think it was on your Twitter, you had shown a advanced copy of the annotated version of The King in Yellow that you guys are publishing. Mm-hmm. This book clearly looks like a passion project from everyone involved.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, Sam's art is incredible, and Ken's Hite's annotations are, really insightful. What made you want to take on this project and do this?
It was, I think, God, I don't remember where the idea came from first. I think it might have come from Ken first, where he was talking to me or was talking to Dennis or both of us at some point, and of course we all love Robert Chambers' work, and Chambers' contribution to horror is kind of fascinating in its own right because it's so limited, and yet has had such an impact. I mean, it's when you're talking about the Yellow Sign and the King in Yellow and Carcosa, all of that came from maybe 3-4 short stories that he wrote, and and yet it was so evocative that it just had this enormous impact on us all these years later. Once it started getting folded into the Cthulhu mythos and kind of, squished in with the rest of it. So yeah, I think it was probably his idea way back when. This is a few years ago, saying it would be really interesting to do annotations for that and to do the research and really dig in, And we both said, "Oh yeah, that sounds great. We would love to see that." And and Ken's the one to do it. I mean, to do that kind of work for us, it's either. I mean, I don't have the patience to do all
yeah.
that, right? Yeah. That would either be Ken Hite or Jess Nevins, and and Ken had the idea. So yeah, and then we were talking to Sam, and Sam Araya had done artwork for us in a few projects before, so we're old friends, and he started doing some he was doing some paintings about that were inspired by the King in Yellow stories and mythology and the way that mythology has evolved, and that were heavily informed by like alchemy and sort of hermeticism, and so we were yeah, so that all just sort of came together just by dint of us talking with them, and and we kind of it was apparent really early that we could bring together Sam's gorgeous paintings that he was developing, and Ken's research, and create something that we would love to have on our shelves.
One last note on the production value as well. I quickly want to say that the text of the actual stories themselves is really nicely laid out and easy to read. This, in tandem with the bookmarks, makes this version of The King in Yellow a really unique experience to read. The foreword by John Scott Tynes is a good read as well. Sharing his experiences with The King in Yellow and how the text affected his life, John sets the mood perfectly for the rest of the book. The stories in The King in Yellow are a must-read for Cthulhu Mythos fans, and a great read if you just enjoy reading as a hobby. The main stories Mythos fans will want to check out are The Repairer of Reputations, The Mask, In the Court of the Dragon, The Yellow Sign, and Cassilda's Song. Fun fact, Chambers actually borrowed the Carcosa setting from the short story An Inhabitant of Carcosa, written by Ambrose Bierce in 1886. It seems Lovecraft wasn't the only one to borrow concepts and terminology. Lovecraft actually makes mention of Chambers in a letter to Clark Ashton Smith, saying, quote, "Chambers is like Rupert Hughes, and a few other fallen titans, equipped with the right brains and education, but wholly out of the habit of using them." The only thing I don't like about this book is that I don't own a physical copy. There is a small limited print run of these, only about 2,000 produced, so if you're lucky enough to get one of these, definitely pick it up. And if you're unable to get a physical copy, do yourself a favor and get the PDF. To quote John here, "If this is your first encounter with The King in Yellow, then you are in for quite an experience. If you know it well, then you're in for a revelation. And while it may be a terrible thing to fall into the hands of a living god, it is a wonderful thing for The King in Yellow to fall into the hands of Ken and Sam. And now into yours. Hold it tight, and it will never let you go." That's going to do it for my review of The King in Yellow Annotated Edition. As always, though, I want to hear from you. What's your favorite story from The King in Yellow? I personally love The Repairer of Reputations. If you happen to pick this up, be sure to leave your comments down below. Thank you as always for watching, and have a great day.